Eh, thanks for seeing me at such short notice. The problem I've got is that I've found a hole in my back passage. I first noticed problem a week or two back. There were like this rough patch that kept getting worse every time I washed it. Then this morning, I were probing it a bit, and it went into a hole. Well, I was that worried. I rang your helpline, for like a telephone consultation. But I felt I were being fobbed off, so I rang 999, and the girl was so helpful. She says, we'll have somebody round as soon as we can. Don't you worry, Mrs. Shaw. Well, sure enough, 5 minutes later, this ambulance draws up. And these 2 paramedics come through my house and into the kitchen where I was. And the leading paramedic found out what my problem was, and he said, I'm going to have to examine it. Well, he had a quick look, and he said, I've never seen one as bad as that, Mrs. Shaw. I'm not sure we've got the equipment to deal with that. I'm going to have to make a phone call. Stan, make us a cup of tea while we're waiting. Well, he went off to make the phone call. When he came back, he said, they're sending someone round in a few minutes. Sure enough, 5 minutes later, this fire engine draws up, and 3 firemen come storming through my house. And when the chief fireman found out what the problem was, he said, I'm going to have to inspect it. Well, he didn't just inspect it. He had a good poke around. And in fact, at one point, his hand and his arm disappeared right up to the elbow. He said, you've got a nasty one there, Mrs. Shaw. I said, I can't let my men be dealing with that without breathing apparatus. I need to make a phone call. Ernie, make us a cup of tea while we're waiting. So he went off, and when he came back, he said, they're sending someone else round. Well, sure enough, a few minutes later, this Jeep thingy screeches to a halt in the street outside. And these 4 army men in fatigues and boots and with their radios crackling come running through my house. The major says he wants a sit-rep. And I said, before you go any further, I said, I know you're going to have a look at it. Make it quick because my tea's going cold. Well, I have to say, he were very thorough. And when he came up, he said, Mrs. Shaw, I think we've got a life-threatening situation here. You're going to need to evacuate. I said, evacuate? Were you lot here and all my neighbours looking on? I said, I'm nearly shitting myself anyway. He said, no, you've got it wrong, Mrs. Shaw. He said, I detected a lot of rumbling down there. He said, I think you've got a nasty build-up of gas. But that's not your worst problem. I'm pretty certain you've got an old World War II unexploded bomb down there as well. Well, I needed no further persuading. I just grabbed my bag and I legged it out the house. What happened next is a bit of a blur. But I know someone dropped me off at the door of the town hall. So here I am. And all I can say is you lot in housing are going to have to find me some temporary accommodation while that lot sorts out my back passage.